Assalamu alaikum my YouTube family. Welcome to Gul Knowledge Hub. Welcome to a new day with a new video. If you are a newcomer, then welcome. Please like, share and subscribe the channel and hit that bell icon because it motivates me to make more videos. So we are going to learn what is C1 level and how much all the grammar you need for C1 level in just one video. Have you ever noticed someone boasting of having C1 level? Have you ever noticed around you? And now what is C1 level? How much grammar you need to master C1 level? First of all, C1 level is the most advanced level of English. It is the fifth level of English. It is called the advanced English. But how can you achieve C1 level? And if you have achieved this C1 level, how can you understand and how can you notice? C1 level, when you reach C1 level, you can express yourself freely without any disturbance. You don't search for the words. Words come to you naturally. Words become the part of your instinct. You don't think in your mind about the words. You are talking naturally. This is the level of C1, where you have a fluency level with the nonsenses of English language. You can understand subtle English jokes. Yes, you feel comfortable and you feel relaxed in your own talking. You don't get stuck. You don't feel hesitate. And if you get stuck, you find another way to speak in English. So, do you think what is after C1? Yes, there is a high level of C2. After C1, there comes C2. And what is C2? C2, dear audience, it means that when you reach at C2 level, you can understand and you can summarize the whole reading and can express those reading in your own words. And you are near native speaker and you master about 16,000 words in your vocabulary. This is C2 level. And now we have to judge how and what kind of grammar you need to master C1 level. Let's have a test. And C1 level includes humor, paraphrasing, word formation. But in this video, we are going to talk about grammar. First of all, let's talk about how much tenses you need for C1 level. There are three levels before C1: A1, B1, B2. When you are B1, there is lot of emphasis on grammar. When you are at B2, there is still a lot of concern, lot of concentration on grammar, tenses. But when you reach at C1, you are not confused. You are not struggling with the tenses. You are not struggling with the grammar. Rather, you are quite conversant. Rather, you are have a strong foundation with grammar that you can easily use the grammar without thinking the rules and the regulations. If you have this stage, then congratulations. If you don't have, then think on what point you have to improve. Now talk about the tenses. How much tenses you need for C1 level? In C1 level, at C1 level, you know all the tenses and you can understand and you can use all the tenses, advanced level of tenses. This is a revision time. At B2, you have learned all the tenses. But at C1, you use them, use them. For example, you can use future perfect tense as an assumption to know about present. For example, I am sure my husband will have noticed that I used all the milk this morning. I have used future perfect tense as an assumption for present. Now let's talk about models. When you are at C1 level, you are quite conversant with models. You can use modal verbs plus adverb. For example, how can you collocate them? Collocate means to combine them. How can you do that? It means that you could conceivably, could, modal verb, conceivably, adverb, though two joins together at advanced level, you could conceivably deny that reality. So we have combined two things, adverb plus modal verbs. And you also use advanced structures of modal verb, like the odds are, I dare say, for example, I dare say I have to brush up my grammar before going to deliver a lecture. After modal verbs, there comes negative inversion. Yes, negative inversion. Negative inversion is used mainly in literature, and it is used to give emphasis on the reading. For example, never ever I have seen such a beautiful scene. Such was the commotion that I could barely understand. I could barely think myself, hear myself think. Such was the commotion, and never ever I have seen. This is called negative inversion. This is very much used in literature. Another thing, hedging and boosting. Yes, if you are at C1 level, you are quite conversant with hedging and boosting. Now, what is hedging and what is boosting? Hedging expresses respect to others' point of view in a polite way. It seems that it might be a good solution. Seems, the word seems, the words looks, the words appears. This is called hedging. And boosting means to assert oneself, to have confidence. It has been proven that this is the best solution of the word. Here you assert yourself undeniably. For example, undeniably. These kind of words, hedging and boosting. Now let's talk about passive voice. When you reach at C1 level, you can use passive voice infinitives like Ma'am recalled having been taught all the passive infinitives in the past at some point. You can also understand difference between phrases like there is nothing to be done, there is nothing to be done, and there is nothing to do. Two kinds of expression. There is nothing to be done and there is nothing to be do. Nothing to do. There is a great difference between these two phrases. Now come to words, conditionals. When you reach at C1 level, dear students, you can use conditionals, and you use, instead of if, conditional if, you use the words given that, but for. For example, but for the wonderful trip I had in Spain, I would never have thought to learn a new language. But for, given that I did like to reach at C1 level, I have to work on my grammar. So you use given that and but for instead of if. Next point is that when you reach at C1 level, you know the different meanings of phrasal verbs. For example, the word set up. First phrasal verb, the set up. It has 3 different or 4 different meanings. First meaning, set up. It means to establish. He set up a clinic in the past. Number 2, set up. It means to trick someone, to deceive someone. You tricked me by saying that everyone was wearing a fancy dress, but everyone was wearing a black tie. Number 3, to set up. Here it means that to put things in proper place. You should have to set up all the things so that the room should be clean. So these are some of the levels where you reach C1 level, and Now tell me in the comment section, have you understood all the grammar, and do you know this grammar? If you know this grammar, then congratulations that you have reached C1 level. And if you don't know these kind of advanced structures, and if you're still struggling with your grammar, then you have to work on your grammar. This is the topic of today. Now challenge begins. It's your challenge to tell me whether you achieve this level of C1 or you are still struggling with. If you are struggling with, we will soon achieve this C1 level by advancing, by covering all the grammatical topics which are needed to be fluent in English and to reach C1 level. Till the next video, stay happy, stay blessed. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.